Hi, everybody. It's Erin Scott here. So this is a little impromptu, but it just felt too right not to press record and just go into a session here, okay? Because we're approaching the point. In fact, right now it's about 4:15, and we are going to be hitting this, Leo full moon, super moon, total lunar eclipse point in about 6, 7, 8 hours. Okay, so we're tapping into those energies, and I'm going to do a bit of a session here. Okay, so let's burn a little Palo Santo. By the way, this is going to be very mellow. This is not fast paced, so this will not resonate for those of you that need quick answers and stuff. This is a mellow reading, okay? So if you'd like to grab a cup of tea and join me, fabulous. Okay, so let's burn a little Palo Santo here, okay? I just did a session earlier this morning for my members. So this is not going to go into total astrological detail, although I'll probably hit a few points about the story, about the narrative that's wrapped in the cosmological relationships for tonight. Great, so we have a little Palo Santo burning. We have the candle burning. I think you can probably see it a little bit. And let's do a little singing bowl chime, okay? Just one, just to enter us into the space, all right? Okay. And I don't have any music on tonight because essentially I was sitting here this afternoon and just really in an extreme bliss place. And it was really my indication to just start recording, okay? And I want to pull up information for you because I'm late in getting my 2019 messages up for you. Okay, they are coming though. They've actually already been pulled, but I have some audio that I need to do. And those are going to be posted soon in the next few days, I would imagine. But because I'm late on that, and because this particular moon, this super moon, total lunar eclipse is, rich. It is storied, it's narrated, that is just part of the powerful layered unfolding of our evolutionary story over the last couple of years. And where we're sitting today, as of, January 20th/21st, right at the peak on Eastern time, Eastern US, it's, essentially right at midnight. It's at 12:15. In fact, the supermoon itself is at 12:15, the exact point, and the total lunar eclipse is at 12:11. So essentially, if for those of you that are able to be awake and in a space of contemplation during this, let's say midnight to 12:30 a.m. Eastern time, 9 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Pacific time, and the times according to where you are on the planet, wonderful. Then you can really honor the space. You can honor yourself, and you can honor the emergent new identity that is coming forward. Okay. Now, a big thing is that we have a Leo full moon at 0 degrees Leo. It's at 051/052. Okay. So it's 0 degrees. The first degree point in the Leo archetypal narrative. Okay. Now, for the last many months, I think this is the 4th, we have had a 0 degree full moon. Just like we've been having these 15-degree new moons repeat. Okay, so there's a lot of significance with this 0 degree full moon narrative that's been coming again and again and again. We had a 0 degree Cancer full moon. We've had a 0 degree excuse me, we've had a 0 degree Gemini full moon. We've had a 0 degree Cancer full moon. We have now a 0 degree Leo full moon. So there's a lot of activation here about new heart, new mind, new identity, new creative self-expression, your individuated being. There is potentiality here. It's playing out with those 0 degrees, everybody. So new self emerging. And indeed, is it not? Have you not been going through major breakdown and breakthrough over the last many years? You know, that's the name of the game. With this particular chart, let me go ahead and pull up the chart. Okay, so I'm going to look at this while I talk to you. There's a really huge dynamic with tonight's supermoon, which is that the moon, which is going to be at 0 degrees Leo, is, of course, because it's an eclipse, it's conjunct a nodal axis of the moon, a nodal point, and it's conjunct the north node of the moon. The north node of the moon is our mastery point. It's what's pushing us to evolve into. And it's in Cancer. It's at 26 degrees Cancer. So Cancer is the narrative of emotional knowing, intuitive knowing, nurturance, caretaking, protection, home, family, the mother, the feminine. It's ruled by the moon. So the moon is at its own nodal point and its mastery. So as we are stepping into the 0 degree Leo moon, everybody, here we are with this not exact conjunct nodal point, but in Cancer. So it's a new confident Leo solar identity emanation, right? That's coming forward through this moon, through this cycle, through this eclipse point. And it's conjunct Cancer north node at that 26 degrees Cancer point, okay? Now with that moon, of course, the opposition point is the sun, and the opposition point is simultaneously the south node of the moon. But Mercury is also on top of it. So what do we have? These are all in Capricorn. We have old identity, old pattern, south node of identity, the sun, along with old patterns of mind, which is Mercury. These are all conjunct the south node. So we're talking about old patterns that need to be rebooted, recalibrated. A lot of it might be toxic and needing to be, you know, transmutated into a new iteration, a new form. And what is the mastery? The mastery is moon Cancer. In the chart, okay, in the astrology, the moon and the north node are completely isolated up, by the way, at the top part of the chart. So in my particular chart for Eastern US time, at the point of this eclipse, it's pretty powerful because that moon node is up at the M.Sc, but it's actually, both of them are at the M.Sc, but right at the end of the ninth house of your paradigm, your worldview, your belief system, okay? It's also higher mind, higher learning. It's getting to the bigger iteration, the more holistic place by which you can view and engage with life, right? So the moon is all up here by herself. Everything else, the stellium of planets, is down in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. Societal systems, government, the patriarchy. You know, this is old mind. And it's old ideas about accomplishment and the goals that I need to set for myself and achieve for myself, the recognition that I need to get, you know, through money, through wealth, through business, through work, through career. There's a lot of old paradigm stuff that is ready to transmutate. There's a balancing out that needs to happen. And it has to do, everybody, with how you feel about life, yourself, relationship, what feels true to you. This is about tapping into what has been denied for millennia, certainly for centuries, which is our feeling body, our intuitive body. The analytic mind is one component of multiple ways by which the human being gets to know the world around itself. The emotional guidance system is one. The intuitive guidance system is another. Both of those have been totally denied. So guess what's happening now? This is about a new story. It has been about the new story emerging. This particular narrative, as we enter this dynamic, expedited, quickened 2019 cycle before we hit the real dynamic 2020 cycle, this is what's going on. There's a new Leo persona, a new way to emanate your identity out into the world, a new way to self-express, everybody. Okay? So there's more to say about the chart. And I don't want to go into a full analysis, but let me briefly just say this, and then I'm going to go into some cards, okay? The other thing with this nodal axis, okay, is that the moon's nodes, with the moon and the sun conjunct, with Mercury down with the sun in the south node, it's squaring Uranus, which the moon's nodes have been squaring Uranus for a while, and it's still activated, which means that this revolutionary self, this unique, distinct self that each of you are, has been in this internal or external revolution of identity that's been happening. And it is part of your mastery trajectory that's called. So for the last 18 months, it was this navigation of stepping into your confident, individuated, self-expressed self, because the North Node was going through Leo. Now, for the next 16 to 18 months, we have the North Node going through Cancer, which is going to obligate, it's going to push us into the mastery of and the reconnection to our intuitive guidance system, our emotional guidance system. It's about inner knowing. It's about inner nurturance. It's about nurturing, caring, empathy, compassion, caretaking. So there's lots activated there, but it does talk about connecting inside to yourself versus looking outside for the validation or for something for society at large or for others to validate you according to what you have and what you do. Very superficial and actually old structures of our paradigm that are dying. You know, so this particular T-square that's happening with Uranus is powerful, okay? But that it's not alone, because another dynamic, there are many dynamics happening with this moon, but another dynamic with that Uranus that is squaring the nodes of the moon is its opposition to the asteroid Pallas Athena, which is conjunct the asteroid Lilith. They're conjunct. They've been conjunct for months, and they're going to be conjunct for months to come. What is that? It's the empowered feminine and the disempowered feminine. As women hold it and as men hold it, because we all hold these paradigms, these archetypal stories. So the birth of a new empowered feminine is at hand. It's been at hand. And indeed, it's opposed Uranus. So this revolution of the self is coming through, this birth of a new iteration of feminine form, feminine energy, feminine qualities of mind. This is about right brain, everybody. This is about holistic seeing, long view assessments, connecting the dots. It's not short view and linear, it's circular. It's able to see and assess narrative, story, archetype, symbol, emotion, intuition, all of that. That's right brain. So this is what's emerging, but it's not without a grand square in the chart here. So is it without its conflict pushing the change to happen? No. You know, we're all moving through the process of growth. So it's a birth canal. You know, so a powerful moon. And I send you all so much love for this dynamic time. Let me go ahead and put this chart down. I'm sending you so much support for this really profound time that might also feel a little confusing in a way, because it doesn't necessarily feel stable. There's a lot that's up in this chaotic process that we're moving through right now as humans. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull some cards. Now I'm going to do two things today. I'm going to pull cards for you to intuit your own message. And I'm also going to pull cards for every sign. And I was contemplating doing that or not, and I'm going to do it. So let's do this. I actually pulled these cards for my members earlier. I'm going to show you the cards close up, and then I'm going to put them back here. Okay, so you can assess, you can tap in as I'm pulling the cards for the signs. And then at the end of the reading, I'll go ahead and pull what you got for your individuated, your individualized, your personalized guidance for yourself. Okay, so the first card that I'm going to put up, the first image, is this image of trees, a sunset, and a lake. So you can see the reflection of the sun and the trees on this beautiful lake. Okay. So everybody, I'm going to put that there. Okay. And then the second one is also a sunset with frozen water. All of these cards have sun and water. Okay. Indicative of this kind of this full moon eclipse that we're going to be having. You know, kind of sun shining on moon, intersected by earth. So we have these different narratives or these different pictures of sun and some form of water. So here we have snow, frozen water, okay? And trees, of course. So you can tap into kind of the color schemes of the cards and also what they are, the symbols. This one is a sunset through a waterfall, okay? So vastly moving water, all right? And from a heightened, you know, space, a heightened place. So let's see if we can get this in just a little bit. I have a little something in here to keep things in place. And then we have this one, okay, which is a sunset with a wave, okay? So those are the things to tap into. Let me move this a little. Move this a little. Okay, everybody. So hopefully you can see those. Just start to tap into those images, okay? Now, before I pull the intuitive pull, I'm actually going to pull cards, just a card for each one of the signs, okay? And this is in regards to a prime growth edge for you now. That's activated for you specifically at this time. Now, these are generalized readings for the signs. I'm not going by decans and the sign. I really am tuning in, by the way, to ascendant and suns only. This is not pertaining to moons. So ascendant and sun. But really, these are very generalized. Okay, so for those of you interested, for those of you who haven't had a potion done, a personalized video potion, they're only $44 and they're a hoot to do. And they're actually relatively long. They're at least, you know, they're about 45 minutes at least in length. And it's a personalized reading with a selection of different tools. Okay, so, and you can tap into your 2019 cycle with those. So you can see the links for that below the video if you're interested. So I am going to use the Bral Talej today, okay? And the Bral Talej was it wasn't my first deck. My first deck was a tarot deck. But it was the first deck that was profound for me, the Bral Talej, okay? And it ended up developing or having my own personal series deck emerge from that, okay? So let me tap in here. Give me a minute. I want to tap in. I want to take some time here. So this is going to be for Aries. And one just fell out. Let me look at it. Okay. So I'll let you know what it is, but I'm going to keep shuffling because I want to tune in a little bit here. So Aries, this is for you. This is a main or a prime growth edge, general for Aries, but a prime growth edge that's coming through for this particular supermoon total lunar eclipse. By the way, there's something else to say before I pull these cards. With the eclipse, because keep in mind, the moon will be shadowed. For those of us with clear skies, I have a snowstorm happening where I am, so I'll probably not be able to see the eclipse, sadly. But for those in the US, this eclipse is completely visible. So for those of you with a clear night sky, wow, you know. But for those of you that are not in the visibility field on the planet, you can still tap in during the time of the eclipse and just work with the energies. This is about just being mindful, slowing down, cutting off distraction, and connecting in and seeing what messages come through specifically for you. So with the shadowed moon happening, you know, with the earth casting this red shadow on the earth, on the moon with this eclipse, keep in mind that the moon does represent the past. And with this eclipse, especially with the moon up here with the north node, with everything else kind of down here on the chart, it's dynamic. Because what it means is that there's a new confident you emerging, and there's stuff from the past. There's an emotional way of operating that is old, antiquated, and it's not present moment. It's not in your power. It's looping in a tape echoes of emotional remembrances that are not in your mastery. So what is today's eclipse, tonight's eclipse going to bring forward? Naturally, for all of us, a release from past wounds, traumas, patterns that are not serving you, that are antiquated, that are based on a previous iteration of you, and that are actually not natural. It's not natural to yourself in the place, in the time-space reality that you are in now. It's your mind that keeps the echoes alive. So you must come to a place of new mind. And indeed, Mercury is connected to the sun and south node, past patterns of Capricornian mind. You know, Saturn's very much about form. So there can be a form to the thought that keeps going, that feeds an emotional narrative and a way of operating that no longer serves. It doesn't serve for the new human. It doesn't serve for your new self. Okay. So Aries, let's go ahead and tap in for you. Okay. So this is your growth edge for this time frame, certainly for this moon, the supermoon eclipse, but also for the next 6 months. Okay. So Aries, prime growth edge for Aries. Aries. What do we got? Teacher. Teacher. What number? 5. 5. So 5 is about change. It's about chaos. It's about freedom. It's about creativity. It's about movement. Teacher is saying, number 1, seek the teachings that are most going to serve you this year, that are most aligned with your feeling body, with your intuitive body. The other is become the teacher that you know you are and that you've been suppressing and not bringing out yet. Okay? Aries, how beautiful. Okay? Now, Taurus. Again, I'm tapping into ascendant and sun only, not the moon. So for Taurus, keep in mind to keep tapping in over here too, okay? Okay. So for Taurus, for this supermoon eclipse, prime growth edge. So Taurus, I'm going to pick 2 for you because it was an interesting break. Here we go. This is why they both came up. Look at this. Fear and joy, both. That's why they both came out. Fear is 63. 6 is family, security. 3 is community, communications, creativity. Together it's 9. There's some sort of spiritual completion with the narrative of fear, with the orientation of fear. Look at what it's coming with. Number 64, joy. Okay? Fear, joy. I'm going to have you look at the images too, okay? So why would fear and joy come out together? Why would they both be coming forward for Taurus? Obviously, there's a way by which an operating system is the default that is keeping you tied, keeping you bound to a fear narrative, to a lack narrative. And this is the burgeoning thing. This is the thing wanting to come through Taurus for the next 6 months. So be mindful. This is about mental discernment. I'm going to repeat that. This is about discernment, okay? This is about questioning your thoughts and beliefs about what you perceive, what you see, and how you feel. It's about really getting clean and clear with what is unconsciously driving a way of operating, a way of thinking, and a way of feeling. It's very important. It is the freedom path, okay? By the way, for those interested, I am launching a new website. It's going to be honed a little differently than the Alchemy of Holism. It's called Holosynthesis.org. It's for the deeper work. It's for the committed work. It's for people that actually want to clean up stuff in their head, in their patterns. So for those interested, you can find me at holosynthesis.org, but right now it's just a landing page. So the website is emerging. However, I do have a Facebook page. So if you go to Facebook/Holosynthesis, you can connect with me there, and then you'll know when the website goes live. So for those interested in doing deeper work, you know, this is more psychological counseling work that is definitely based on your specific narrative, which is your astrological makeup, your narrative, your encoding, your recipe, you know, your story, your distinct story. So it's based on who you are and what those patterns are, and then the freedom around those patterns. Essentially that's the work of holosynthesis. But it is about reholing you, because getting back to your wholeness is the freedom. And it's certainly the freedom from suffering, but it's the freedom in all kinds of ways. Okay, so let's tap into Gemini. Let's tap into Gemini. Okay. Main growth edge for Gemini for this moon. Wow. Number 23, Gemini, sacred alchemy. Okay, so 2 is about relationship, 3 is about creativity, communications. Together it's 5. So for you, a large component of this year, the growth edge will be to tap into your alchemical transmutation as an entity, as a being, as an individual, and bringing that forward through your work, to others, in your circle, with your clients, okay? And to do it via relationship creatively, and to instigate change and freedom, number 5 for people. Gemini, beautiful. Cancer, let's tap into Cancer. Let's tap into Cancer. So this will be Cancer, ascendants and suns for this supermoon eclipse and the narrative that it's sparking for your next 6 months. Cancer. Okay. Cancer, the growth edge is ending. What number is this? 58. 5, of course, is everything we've been talking about. There's a lot of 5 energy coming forward. Do you notice that? 5 for me always reminds me of Uranus, because Uranus is about chaos and revolutionary shift and change, movement. And indeed, 5 is that. But this is also 8. And 8 is feedback loop. It's wealth. It's connected with the narrative of power. Okay. So 58 could be change with regards to money and power. There could be endings this year. And the growth edge Cancers could be dealing with an ending of a chapter, an ending of a cycle when it comes to whatever. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be wealth. Will there be changes with regards to the financial systems in the coming couple years? Yes, but we're all going to be going through that. But this is a growth edge for you, Cancer. It could be that endings could be in relationships too for some of you. It could be that ending being the growth edge means that for a lot of you, you're clinging on to a relationship, for example, that you know needs to end, but you might be attached to them because of financial sharing. Like, for example, a lot of you might be in a partnered relationship, either a spouse relationship or a long-term partner, where they financially aid your living situation. And for some of you, you're hanging on to the relationship because of that. That's not going to apply to all of you, but for some of you, it will. And what this is talking about, Cancer, is you're going to have to address the fact that the things that need to end that are most aligned with your growth, with your evolution, with your new iteration of self must come about. You're going to have to address it because alignment is called for all of us now, you know. And it might be that you're going to have to say goodbye to certain habits, patterns, relationships, workplaces, home situations, living situations that simply are not aligned for you anymore. Does that make sense? So Cancer, yeah, you know, that's a growth edge for the now, for this eclipse. And keep in mind, can I just say, this is the nodal point at 26 degrees Cancer. The moon is in Leo, but it's conjunct this nodal point in Cancer. And the moon obviously rules Cancer. And Cancer just got endings, and here we are at an eclipse point. So indeed, Cancers and Leos could very well have some transitions that have to do with endings or completions that you're going to need to face, is what I'm getting. So let's tap into Leo. Okay, let's tap into Leo. So Leo, for this supermoon in Leo, and the theme with this eclipse. Leo, going. So do you see that? We have, what's number? 95. 9 is spiritual completion. 5 again. Again. Do you see this? How many 5 energies have we had so far? Lots. And this is about going, Leo. So we have ending for Cancer and going for Leo. Could it be that there's a new place on the planet that's calling you? A new home, a new community, a new job. Okay, so for Leos, listen, for those of you who don't know their astrogeography and have been having ideas about leaving, moving, relocating, etc., you can be in contact because I can do an astrogeography assessment for you. Okay, so going for Leo, that's the growth edge. So again, just like Cancer having to contend with an ending that's it's time for something to end, it's time to move on, it's the same for Leo. You know, and here we are at this Leo eclipse. So let's take a look now for Virgo. Let's take a look for Virgo. I want to make sure you can see all the images there. Okay. Okay, Virgo. So let's take a look here. Virgo for this supermoon. Virgo ascendant and sun. Okay. Remembering. This is the growth edge, Virgo. What's the number? 39. 39, 3, community, communication, creativity, and 9, spiritual completion. Together it's 12, and that makes a 3. So there's something here remembering. This is what I want to say, Virgo. It might be, and I want you to take note, you can see the gold, you know, this is the symbol for remembering. In the Damanhurian language, that's the symbol for remembering. So all of these cards, you're going to see a reflective font on there, right? So remembering. So the growth edge is to remember, I think, what I'm getting is Virgo is to remember who they used to be, what they used to dream, what they like to used to do, habits or creative projects that you used to like to do when you were a kid, when you were a teen, when you were in your 20s. Something that you forgot about yourself is to be remembered. You are to awaken to the essence of who you are. That's what I get for Virgo. And again, this is not only for tonight or this week, this is for the next 6 months. So Virgo, you're moving through a growth process of reconnecting to you as healer, to you as the one able to, with integrity, attend to issues of health and healing, of mind, body, spirit, of balance and detail, and making sure that there's cleanliness to the system, whether it's the system of the body or the system of the mind. Okay. Now, Libra. Okay. So for Libra Sun and for Libra Ascendant, Libra Sun for the supermoon and eclipse. What's the prime growth for Libra? These are interesting. They're a little bit, I always pay attention to the quality of the shuffle, because the quality of the shuffle is giving me information already, right? Let's pull it and then we'll talk about it. So Libra's prime growth edge. Okay, Libra, thought. No, so this is really good because it was a difficult shuffle. Things kept wanting to fall out and stuff. What I'm getting is that Libras are spinning, okay? And so what are we getting for your growth edge? Number 47, thought. Now, in the I Ching, number 47 is oppression. Drink that in for a minute, oppression. You can see, by the way, the insignia there for thought, the symbol for thought. Thought, Libra. Now, you are an air sign. You're ruled by Venus, but you're an air sign. So you contemplate and you bounce things back and forth, just generally, archetypally, for the generalized Libra, right? This is a general reading. But I have to tell you, yes, I do believe that with the shuffling of the deck, it's messy. So for the growth edge for Libra is to not default into the mind, to not try to figure out emotions in the mind. You can't do that. You have to dive into the emotional body in order to attend to emotional healing. And there could be some clumsiness with some Libras with regards to spinning in the mind, trying to figure things out with the mind, trying to analyze, trying to see the other person's perspective, trying to understand the reasons why bad things happen to good people, whatever it is. A lot of planning. There could be a lot of planning. And this is what I want to say. If you are a Libra that finds that you're spinning by default and you're trying to plan out your future, but you're confused, you can't quite do it because things are a little messy, there's a reason for that. There are still things that are not quite landed yet for people, a lot of people. So you have to learn, everybody, all of us, every sign, every person out there has to learn to be malleable in our and adaptable in response to life now. Rigid and dogmatic fixed positions will break and collapse. Not if, but when. They will. So humans have to learn to think more like nature. There has to be more of the willow tree orientation with the self, the mind, how you think and operate, versus a rigid tree. You know, Like a sturdy oak can, you know, have more of a problem in a storm, theoretically, than the one that can bend and still stay rooted. So it's about adaptability and malleability, and ultimately it's about resilience, being resilient with the shifts and changes that are happening. Scorpio. Let's tap into Scorpio. Okay. So Scorpio, for this Leo supermoon and eclipse. Prime growth edge. Okay. All right. So for Scorpio, big, number 73. 7 is the great mysteries. It's the trickster. It's the unknowable. It's living systems with the ingredient that we cannot know. That's 7. 3, again, we're getting lots of 5 energies and lots of 3s. 3, communication, creativity, community. Big Scorpio is coming up. I have to tell you, for you over this eclipse portal and for the next 6 months, and what I've been getting for you for the last 5 or 6 months, there are big things in order for the Scorpio archetype coming up this year and the next year. Okay. Will there be some challenges? Of course. But is there big opportunity for movement and progression? There is. I think that you are, and let me see if you can see I think it's just like a smiley. It's literally like a half a circle. You can see it here. That's the symbol for big. So it's like a big smiley face. Okay. So Scorpio, for you, the growth edge is big. So will there be some big things kind of, let me adjust myself here. Will there be some big things at hand for you? Yeah. But what will your growth edge be to meet it, for you to step into your bigness, for you to become bigger than you have been comfortable being before? That's the growth edge. It's not the comfortable place. It's what wants to come through you. So it means that you're going to have to push your comfort zone, right? In being bigger than you maybe thought you wanted to be. Okay. So interesting. Now, with regards to Sagittarius, okay, let's take a look at Sag for this supermoon and for a main growth edge for the next 6 months. Okay, for Sag. Okay, beauties. Wow, look at this. Number 92, again, 9. So we've had a lot of 9 energy, 3 energy, 5 energy, right? So 92, 9, spirituality, completions. 2 is relationships, and new is the growth edge for Sag. So indeed, I mean, Jupiter is moving through Sagittarius for the majority of 2019. So new is about new opportunities, new beginnings, new relationships, new life, new you. But the growth edge is stepping into newness and getting out of rigid patterns or the known, the comforts, the comfortable patterns that are maybe not the happiest, but make you feel at home. This is the growth edge for Sag. Okay. Very good. So it's about meeting these growth edges, everybody. All the words, all the quality sets that are coming forward for you, it's about meeting those growth edges. Stepping up courageously, meeting it, stepping into it, just fully, just doing it. This is the year to really move yourself in new directions that are against the comforts, you know, and actually to release any kind of insecurity about it, because you realize that the ego self doesn't matter. It's just what's going to serve the bigger picture. What's truly going to serve the collective need right now, which is so extreme. It's so clear there's such an extreme level of antiquated mind and immature emotionality, like really low level humans, a lot of them on the planet, a lot, like more than, you know, in the last couple of years, I've really gotten more and more clear, actually. I think I thought people were more evolved than they are, but no, we have a long way to go. There's lots of people waking up and have been, but man, lots of people are still really deeply asleep, like just hypnotized. It's quite something. So Capricorn. Now Capricorn, obviously, let's tap into Capricorn. Capricorn's been going through so much since 2008, and it is just continuing, you know. Now the South Node is there for the last year. Saturn's been there. Currently, Mercury is there. So let's take a look here for Capricorn, main growth edge for this eclipse. Insisting, number 61. Insisting Capricorn, and you can see the arrow there, the arrow pointing downward. Insisting is about being resolute, like being, well, now wait a minute. There's two things I want to say about this. This is actually going to show up differently for different Capricorns. I want you to hear what I'm going to say. Insisting is going to look different for different Capricorns because this is the growth edge. Insisting can be very rigidly Saturnian. So for example, some Capricorns out there can insist on achievement, on their career, on their position, on achievement, on duty, on their responsibility, but also to government structures and social structures. They can insist on it. There can be a bullying aspect to this. We're talking about your growth edge for now and for the next 6 months. So for some of you, there is the inner bully that must be dealt with, okay? For others of you, there's a need to step into your power, into your strength, and into your resolution about a position that matters to you. And insisting on your self-accountability, Capricorn and Saturn. Self-accountability, Capricorn and Saturn. There's benefic aspects of Saturn. There's benefic aspects of Capricorn. So for some of you, this is about insisting to the denial of everybody else's position that must be addressed in 2019. And to others of you, it's about stepping into your power and insisting your value and your position and your point of view, etc. Okay? Because it's valuable and it matters too. Okay? So that's definitely going to show up differently for different Capricorns. Now for Aquarius. Okay, and I'm going to do something here. Adjust my window a little bit here. Okay, now for Aquarius, for this supermoon eclipse. And of course, the sun is at 0 degrees Aquarius, right? Okay, beauties, manifesting. 74. 7, again, the great mysteries. 4 is about structure. So, and together it's 11, a master number. 7 and 4 is 11. So manifesting Aquarius. Now, indeed, Aquarius ruled by Uranus is, well, it's complex. It is a complex archetype, but it does, along with other things, it involves the narrative of the future human, the new human, the more refined human, hopefully the more humane human. Manifesting, though, is powerful because Aquarian manifestations for the collective, for all of us, for the world, for those that are not Aquariuses, is the name of the game now and in the future. But for Aquarius at the sun, or over the course of this supermoon that we're having, We're, of course, at a 0-degree Aquarius sun position. And what is that talking about? It's talking about the potential for a new narrative of the Aquarian. So there's things to become manifest. And Aquarian manifestations look like humanitarian efforts to come forward to help clean up the oceans, which is already happening. You know, efforts to help humanity on a very profound, radicalized, wholly benefic, win-win scenario situation here. There's many collapses happening because there's new manifest form that wants to come forward. So what is it for Aquarius over the now and the next 6 months at least that's wanting to come through? Bring it. Bring your innovation. Bring it. Put things into form. The innovative Uranian ideas that you've been getting, bring it. That's the growth edge. Again, it's not necessarily the comfortable place, but it is the growth edge. So you're going to have to push into it, lean into it. Follow the call. Follow your bliss. Pisces. Now let's tap into Pisces here. Okay. You can see we're getting a little ambrosia in the background, which is really nice. Okay. All right. So for Pisces. Pisces growth for offering. I love that you all got different ones. Can I just say? So this is number 12, and together that is 3. Creativity, communications, community, offering. Pisces, your growth edge this year, your growth edge certainly for the now and for the next 6 months, is to offer your gifts, is to offer your goods, is to offer yourself, to offer your skill sets, offer your spiritual connectedness, to do it authentically. That's Pisces here. And to do it creatively. See, the other thing here, we have 1 and 2, right? 1 and 2 equaling 3. 1 is the individual, 2 is relationship, 3 is creativity and community. So that's giving you all the data points here. You are to offer your creative gifts through your individual work with relationship. This can be with clients, etc. Okay, so Pisces, this is your growth, dear ones. Okay, it's a little bit harder to see the reflection, the symbol on there. It's on there, but it's a little harder to see. Okay, now, really good. Now, everybody, let's go ahead and pull up these intuitive polls. So continue to just pick one of these images, just the one that calls you the most. Don't pick multiple, really just pick one. There's only 4, and it helps you hone. Those of you that are not accustomed to doing this, it helps you hone your intuitive capacity, okay? And it becomes just second nature like this, okay? So what I'm gonna do, actually there's a couple things that I wanted to do. So while you're still tuning in, I'm going to show you something. These cards I got in Totnes in Devon in the UK. And I got these many years ago. These are called the Lady Morgane Moon Oracle cards. Okay. I never bring these out. And I don't know why I don't, because they're lovely. Maybe I have a little protection energy on them. I don't know. But I'm going to show you the Leo Moon card. Okay, so you can see the image and kind of have that as part of your psyche for this particular moon. Okay, so this is the image of the Leo moon. I'm just going to have you look at that for a minute. You can see this woman has a braid down her back. She's naked. She's sitting cross-legged, facing the other way. And there's like what looks like spirit kind of arching over her. And there's a moon above her head. That's what I want you to see. And it's kind of in a silver sheen, but it's a little hard to see with all this reflection there. But you can see on top of her head, her hands are holding kind of a crescent moon on top of her head there. So that's the Leo moon card, okay? So I wanted to do that. Now, the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start pulling a tarot card for these. And what I'm going to do is I am going to pull from this deck that was my very first tarot deck. This was my very first tarot deck. I got this in Northern California many, many years ago. And it is the Fairy Folklore. I think, no, it's called the Forest Folklore deck, okay? And it's a sweet deck. It's it just has a soft nature to the kind of photograph that's blended with artwork imagery. It's very soft. It's very pastel. It's very sweet. It has a really light energy to it. And I'm going to start pulling for each one of these. So I'm going to give you some time, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and start selecting. And this will be your particular guidance, you know, another thread to the guidance that I gave. So this is for the lake reflection image. For the lake reflection. Okay, so I'm going to just put this to the side, okay? And then for the snow image, the sunset with the snow and the trees, that's what I'm going to pull next. And that one just fell out, so I'm going to take that one. That one just came right on out. It's like, here I am. And then we're going to pull the waterfall, the sunset with the waterfall image, okay? Okay, and then I'm going to pull for the wave, the sunset with the wave. Okay, all right. Okay, sunset with the wave. Okay, beauties. So let's go ahead and start picking these and see what's coming up for your particular guidance, okay? So if you selected the reflection in the lake, okay, then you selected the Ten of Swords. Now, this is the guidance for you. This is kind of coming up as a bit of a theme and guidance. All right, that you're particularly choosing. So the Ten of Swords can be a feeling, a mental assessment, because this is the swords, but it's a mental assessment of defeat. Okay, so for your theme and for your growth edge for this eclipse and for this next 6-month time frame, this is about you maybe reassessing what you deem as failure or defeat. Recalibrating your perception around, really, is that true? Is it true that it's defeat and failure? Was that actually kind of part of the narrative of my growth and unfolding? Did that defeat and failure need to happen to catalyze new questions, new paths, new dreams, new instigations inside me? This is the growth edge, everybody, for those of you that selected lake. So you might need to redefine failure, and you might need to recalibrate the whole idea of defeat. Keep in mind, for the Capricornian stellium of planets that's in there now, for a lot of people, there's a lot of issue with letting go of control and power. And if they don't have control and power, they could perceive things as defeat, because in a certain mindset, there's win and lose, and there's nothing else. There's no in between. But I'm sorry, that's not how life works. So that rigid black-white is unnatural. It's not a natural mind. It's not nature. It's not connected to really how natural systems work. There is not black and white, period. And that is probably very black and white, is it not? My period, which is not okay, right? Because that is so determined and dogmatic. But nature is free, and there's an ease to it. And when the human, because there's many models of humans on this planet now that are living free, and they are not black and white in their mental orientation, in their definitions of events and structures. So I really urge all of you that selected this one, you're going to have to redefine what you perceive as defeat and what you perceive as failure, because there could be something that's going to free you up if you just remind yourself about what it really is about. Okay, beauties. Now for snow, for the sunset through the trees and through the snow. Okay, look at this. So we have the High Priestess here. And of course, this is a major arcana card. So your theme and your guidance is to tap in to your inner knowing. This is to undistract. This is about getting away from distractions, cutting them out. It's about going within. It's definitely Cancerian, because we're talking here about your intuitive knowing, your intuitive wisdom, your emotional knowing. This is about connection to the etheric. This is about connection to the consciousness field. And it's about accessing it. It's the growth edge for you. It's the theme that's activated for you, and it's the growth edge that has to be met. So you are to tap deeper, deeper. You are to become, by the way, more disciplined in your spiritual practice, meaning meditation, even just stillness and quiet. So this is the growth edge for those of you that selected snow. Okay. Now, for those of you that selected waterfall, okay, beautiful image. What did you get? You got the Five of Wands here. Now, the Five of Wands is about kind of conflict and argument, right? And it can be in the workplace or with your neighbors or even in the family unit. It can be with the people, the relationships in your life. But there is a light, and this particular imagery I think is quite beautiful. You know, it's very light in its treatment of this card. But the Five of Wands is about frustration, conflict, anger issues. And this is the growth edge. So for those of you that selected the waterfall, this is about determining in this cycle, in this eclipse cycle, which is about something getting eclipsed out or something needing to be eclipsed out. What could need to be eclipsed out now and in the next 6 months? It could be living in a state of conflict. So if your home environment, if your work environment, if your neighborhood, if the group of friends that you hang out with, if there's gossiping, if there's negativity, if there's conflict energy, you might need to decide differently now. You might need to eclipse out conflict in your life. It might be time for you to set your own boundary, write your own story, create your own environment and your own context for your own lead character, which is you, right? So conflict is needing to be addressed at this eclipse portal, everybody, okay? Now, let's take a look here at the wave, okay? So for those of you that selected the wave, all right? I just want to look at my hair. I think it's trying to do funny things or something. What did you get here? The Six of Swords. The Six of Swords. Now, this is kind of an interesting image, I would say, for the Six of Swords, because, you know, usually we see, is he in a boat? No, I don't think so. Yeah, this one's an interesting image because typically, as a lot of you know, the card depicts, not always, not in the Everyday Witch Tarot, but most of them, it's, you know, a woman and a child in a boat. being taken away to calmer waters. And so for the growth edge, for those of you that selected wave, the growth edge is the theme, and the growth edge for this eclipse and for the next 6 months is to find peace, is to move on. It's to go to a place, or physically, it could be physically, by the way, or mentally or emotionally, because this is a mental card, it's the swords. So it's definitely about reorienting yourself to more peaceful conditions. And everybody, what I want to say for you that selected the 6 of Swords, for the 5 of Wands, and for the 10 of Swords here, right? These are all kind of conflict energy. Do you notice that? This is moving on to peace, but it is swords. So it's a lot of mental stuff. Here we have wands, here's swords. So there's a lot of intuitive growth here with the snow, you know, that you've been getting. It's a little bit reflecting, I noticed. You guys probably can't see it now. But with regards to this, those of you that selected the lake, this is about redefining the 10 of Swords, okay? It's about redefining it. And for some of you, that's going to also be indicative of dealing with things that you need to now retire. For some of you, that's going to be the case. It could be that something has failed and you're going to have to admit it and actually just move on. Find the next dream. And I want to say, have fun with it. And I don't say that in a way to disrespect the pain that could be going on with regards to a perceived defeat or a perceived failure. But this is a time of potential, everybody. 2019, 2020, you know. So with regards to this, we have that kind of conflicting mind orientation around defeat and failure that has to be addressed. Here, it's a matter of really attending to your intuitive knowing. It's about really going there, really becoming the high priestess, whether you're male or female. And for here, again, we have this kind of conflict, argumentative, frustrating, negative, gossipy energy here that needs to be addressed, that needs to be eclipsed out, okay? And then, of course, here. So here, it's implying that there's been rougher waters, and it's time now to address smoother waters, calmer waters, more harmonic environment for you, a more harmonic relationship dynamic for you, a more harmonic reality. That's what this is talking about, everybody. So indeed, for all of these different intuitive poles, there are some themes here, you know. There's some themes coming up, and a lot of it has to do with mind and energy. Mind, energy, and tapping the deeper narrative there, the deeper connection point that's going to get you to the place of freedom, right? Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with who I am and what I do, my link is below. So you can go to the alchemyofholism.com. You can go to the services page. I have sales happening in January. So this first month of the year, full in-depth natal chart analysis are on sale. And there's some other specials there. And in the services page, you can find a link for the potion. So if one of you out there or a few of you out there would like a personalized video potion, be in touch. And they're very fun to do. And they're very informative. There's a lot of detail that come through. So you can do that. And then for those of you that really are interested in a more committed dive into understanding yourself at various levels, very, very deep, and doing the work to confront fears, wound sets, habits of feeling and habits of mind that are toxic, that are not serving you, that are keeping you imprisoned, that are not growing you, then you are very welcome to go to Facebook/Holosynthesis. I'll put a link down, below the video as well, so you can link to that. And, you know, keep in contact there, because soon, probably in the next 3 weeks or so, I'll go ahead and launch the website. Right now, it's just a landing page at holosynthesis.org. But I'm very excited about the holosynthesis work because it's been emerging for the last decade for me. And it is the right next iteration. Okay. So for those really interested, you can find out more, you know, on the Facebook page. All right. So everybody, wow, here we are. What time is it? It's 5:30. So we have what, 5, 6, about 7 more hours or so, a little less than 7 hours till this beautiful full moon, super moon, blood wolf moon, 0 degree Leo, new iteration of self, eclipse. So letting go of emotional patterns of the past, being here now. Ram Dass, just think of being here now and the brilliance, the perfection of that moment being the real only reality. We spin in the past, we project into the future, but that's always the suffering. You know, the clarity of present moment is the truth, and it's your freedom, you know, and it's how nature operates. So to get to that place of freedom, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. And here we are at the beginning of the year. There's a new potentiality. For those of you that weren't aware, when we entered into this Gregorian New Year, January 1, 2019, guess where Mars was located? 0 degrees Aries. Mars rules Aries. Aries is the start of the zodiac wheel. It's a new archetypal journey for the human being. And Mars, its home planet, its ruling planet, was right there. 0 degrees Aries, right at the start of the year. New energy, new vitality, new narrative, new cycle. That's what's going on, everybody. So embrace it. Have fun with it. There'll be challenges, but you can do it. You're stronger than you know. And, you know, listen, there's support. There's support out there for you. There's lots of it. People are supporting people left and right. And you'll become your own support mechanism for others eventually. If you're not doing it already, you're going to be doing it. Okay? Because we're all here to help one another through the story. Certainly through this chapter, because this is an intensified chapter. The last couple of years, the next few years, you know, lots of major shifts and changes, and lots of potential. Okay, so tap your creativity. For all of you out there, tap your creativity for this moon, for the year ahead, for the next few years ahead, because that's actually another level of freedom, by the way, is tapping and letting come through you your creative source field. When you do that, there's a way by which you disconnect from the operating systems that might have some hypnotic, you know, control over your mindset or belief systems or whatnot. Okay, so tap that creativity and be disciplined about your spiritual practice. Be disciplined about technology, turning things off, disconnecting. Be disciplined about it. Be disciplined about what you put in your body, food, whatever. I want you to be mindful about the energy that you're putting in your body, because it matters now, maybe more than ever, especially with Uranus moving into Taurus soon. So I want you to be mindful, healthy, resilient, adaptable, strong, empowered, clear. Okay? Let's have fun. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful eclipse portal. And for those that want to be in touch, you know how to reach me. I'm sending you much love. Bye, everybody.